What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about SoundHound. I want to talk to you about this upcoming week. What is going to cause some volatility and potentially how low it could go. Before we get into any of that though, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. And so the reason why I said how low could it go is there's a lot of things coming out this week that's going to test the market more than what has already happened the last several weeks. So starting off with data points, don't really have all that much on Monday. Tuesday we have ADP, non-farm payroll, both October and November data, retail sales, unemployment, and then we do have a lot of flash data. So Tuesday is going to be a pretty big day for the broader market. Keep in mind, you have a lot of inconsistencies coming from the Feds on what is coming for January as far as rate cuts. So that's, again, going to be at the back of everyone's mind. Wednesday, we do have a couple big ones. So mortgage applications, mortgage market index. And then aside from that, we do have on Thursday, CPI, initial jobless claims, and then Friday, existing home sales and Michigan consumer sentiment. So a lot of big stuff that can move the market. Plus, we do have some big companies also putting out their earnings. And what we saw last week is if one of the big tech names gives bad future guidance, that is going to cause a ripple across obviously the tech and AI sectors. So at the end of the day, we have Micron, Nike, and FedEx. Those, in my opinion, are going to be the hot ones to kind of watch for, more specifically MU. So if they, again, kind of signal what Broadcom was kind of feeling and the vibes they're sharing, I think ultimately that might cause some volatility. But there's also this right here. So in Japan, so I was kind of doing some research, and for those of you that watch my channel, you know I've been kind of saying that we're kind of experiencing lower volume and blah, blah, blah. And it's kind of been more of a consistent thing. The reason why we've been seeing lower and lower volume is big money has been actually afraid of this upcoming event on Thursday evening. So Bank of Japan interest rate decision, and it is fair to assume that they're actually going to be raising rates. Not only that, there's a lot of common understanding that throughout 2026, there's going to be numerous amounts of cuts up until they get to, let's say, that 3.5% range. So in general, that's going to cause a significant and global liquidity pinch. It's going to first be felt through the bond market. And so that's going to cause a lot of ripples and eventually work its way down to the crypto as well as equity markets. So this is why we've been seeing lower volume, and it's only kind of the tip of the iceberg. So this is exactly why I said that potentially we might be seeing a pullback. And so again, how low could it go? Because there's a lot of big data that could change the market's perception of a rate cut in the States, and also just obviously Japan raising interest rates. So there's a lot of big stuff coming out associated to SoundHound. There really isn't anything planned, no fireside chats, no interviews, anything along those lines. One thing that might be bullish is Jim Cramer again doubling down on kind of his hatred towards SoundHound. So he just said, no, SoundHound doesn't make any money. It's one of those year of magical investing stocks, and that year is over. So again, he kind of said that last time. I like to give credit when credit is due. Technically, last time he did say that. It's gone down quite a lot. So I think he kind of last mentioned it at like, I'd say 19 or 20. So I guess in all fairness, he was kind of accurate for that. But that seems to be one common thing that he just says, is that they don't make money, which technically is not accurate whatsoever. But nonetheless, there really isn't anything planned associated to SoundHound. It'd be nice. I don't think that Rivian is going to be using them, but that seems to be a hot stock that people are talking about. And one thing that they did recently announce was that they were going to be using a AI assistant within their vehicles in early 2026. They didn't use SoundHound, and it doesn't look like that because they do have a lot of pre-existing partnerships with Google. So it is fair to assume that possibly they might be sticking with Google for that. But still, it'd be really nice if SoundHound was able to kind of piggyback off of the good momentum in the auto sector. So we have Lucid, Stellantis, and if they can kind of get Rivian, I think that would be very good in my opinion. But yeah, so this is something yet to be seen. So let me know your general thoughts on that. Last couple of videos, I've actually seen some individuals saying just to Google UK McDonald's, and technically that you'll see like SoundHound in action. I think that there was some actual partnership announcements because of that, but it wasn't actually directly with McDonald's. Even in the UK, it is through a third party. So McDonald's hires a third party to manage all that, and they did partner with SoundHound. So technically, again, this is all kind of known information about 2 or 3 months ago. So in theory and indirectly, SoundHound is partnered with McDonald's. Just, I don't think that it's ever going to be direct. So just wanted to kind of share that with you. Aside from that, looking at the shorts going into this upcoming week, 30.09% of the free float being shorted, works to be 113.98 million shares overall being shorted. So shorts definitely are very, very active and has been very active. They've been honestly holding their level for a while now, since pretty much March. That's where they kind of recently did double down from pretty much, looks like December 2023. 2024 was a pretty rough year for them. But yeah, for the most part, 2025, they've been lingering between the 27 and about 34% range. So I don't know. It'd be nice if SoundHound in their upcoming earnings, they kind of talked about more focusing on profitability and kind of a timeline for that. And that will, in among itself, be a natural deterrent for shorts. Aside from that, from a bull standpoint, you do see a consensus for it to be roughly around that $12.50 to $13 range. So definitely some good upside. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub 10.50 to 11. So like I said, there is a certain level of bearishness in the broader market. Right now with at 11.65, it is trading between this pivot and this S1. So 11.46 is going to be a strong support, kind of bounced off of that general area on Friday. Most likely anticipate that to be tested once again on Monday. And then you have 10.98 followed by 10.21 as support levels. So those are again going to be elements to kind of watch for. Quickly popping over here on the actual chart, this is where SoundHound was like over the last week and a half. Like it went from relatively bullish, a lot of signs that it was going to go back to that $14.50 and $15 range, to pretty much closing below a lot of these key levels. So right now, going into this upcoming week, it is below that 10-day moving average and also 200, which does signal that most likely you will be seeing also some further consolidation. So even though it's gone down quite a lot from that 22.17 most recent high, it still kind of signals that we might be breaking down a little bit more. So looking back at some good general levels, it looks like 9.50 and 10.92. Those are going to be the next kind of levels to really watch for. In my opinion, this upcoming week, we could potentially be touching that 10.50 range. Again, that's if kind of worst case scenario does play out with, let's say, a liquidity pinch because of Japan raising their rates. And again, the States in among itself also has a lot of big data coming out. And now, as of last week, people are starting to think about the next shutdown that might be coming at the end of January. So there's just a lot of fear in the broader market. So in my opinion, this time around, I think 10.50 is going to be that level to watch for. And then aside from that, it would be 9.50. If that does, either of those fail to hold, then most likely you could be seeing a retest of the April kind of lows, which was 6.50. So let me know your thoughts on SoundHound. At what stage would you be buying more, or are you selling? What's your kind of general thoughts on SoundHound? And when it comes to the next big catalyst, what do you think that is going to be? Do you think that it is going to be another big OEM announcing a partnership with SoundHound, or like what's your kind of 2 cents? I do remember from, it was Q1 of their earnings, they said in the second half of 2026 there was going to be a lot of acquisitions. And so far, we've seen a lot of kind of general partnerships, but nothing crazy as far as acquisitions. So I don't know if SoundHound kind of is pulling back, or they're trying to conserve their cash to kind of keep their balance sheet fairly strong. I'm not really sure exactly what they're doing. So let me know your general thoughts on that in the comments below. One final thing, just for this weekend, so in the next about 5-6 hours, I do have a promotion on my stacked account. So if you're looking for some on-point buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, I lowered the price down to $5 per month. And so if you get in, it will never increase. You're going to stick to that. Plus I do have a lot of other tiers. So I have roughly around 101 members that all buys. So that's stocks, crypto, day trades, that's everything that you ever want. But I do put out a lot of kind of unknown stocks flying under the radar that are really doing pretty phenomenal. So pop over there, take a look, link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.